So hello everyone, this is my report of assessment and learning subject. My topic is all about measures of covariability. So covariability tell us to a certain extent the relationship between two tests or factors. I score one gets may not be due to a single factor but with other factor directly or indirectly observable which are also related to one another. This section will be limited to introducing two scores that are hypothesized to be related to one another. So when we say a covariability, it measures the total variation of two random variables from their expected values. So using the measures of covariability, we can only gauge the direction of a relationship, whether the variables tend to move in tandem or show an inverse relationship. So it does not indicate the strength of the relationship nor the dependency between the variables. So when we interested in finding the degree of relationship between two scores, we are dealing with the correlation between two variables. The statistical measure is the correlation coefficient, an index number that range from negative 1.0 to positive 1.0. So the value of as negative 1.0 nag-indicate siya sa negative perfect correlation, and the 0.00 no correlation at all kay 0.00 man siya, and positive 1.0 nag-indicate siya sa perfect positive correlation. So when we see correlation coefficient, it measures the strength, the relation between variables. It also is scaled measure of variance. It is dimensionless. In other words, the correlation coefficient is always a pure value, not measured in any units. So there have been many correlation studies conducted in the field of assessment and research, but correlation coefficient values are either closer to positive 1.0 or negative 1.0. Daghang nag-conduct studies sa correlation sa assessment of research, pero ang value jud sa correlation coefficient is either negative 1 negative 1.0 or positive 1.0. So when you see a picture here, there are diagrams. So this is the diagram of various types of relationship. So there are R equals positive 1.0, I mean 0.4, positive correlation man siya, so iyahang R is pataas. And R equals 0, kay 0 man siya, so no correlation siya. Kay no correlation man siya, iyahang linya is pa-straight lang nga pahigda. And R equals negative 0.4, kay negative man siya, so opposite siya sa positive correlation. So kay negative man siya, iyang paro is paubos. Kay ang positive, di ba, kay pataas. So ang negative is paubos. So there are some example of interpreting correlation coefficient are follows. So there are size of correlation and there are interpretation. So naadri ang 0.90 to 1.00 o negative 0.92, negative 1.00. So ang interpretation niya is very high positive or negative correlation. So next one is 0.70 to 0.90 or negative 0.70 to negative 0.90. So ang interpretation niya is high positive or negative correlation. And the other one is 0.50 to 0.70 or negative 0.50 to negative 0.70. Ang interpretation niya is moderate positive or negative correlation. And the fourth one is 0.30 to 0.50 or negative 30 to negative 0.50. So, ang interpretation niya is low positive or negative correlation. And the last one is 0.002, 0.30 or 0.002 negative 30, 0.30. So, nag-start man siya og zero, di ba ang zero kay no correlation siya. So, ang interpretation niya is negligible correlation. To further analyze the following two scores, we need to statistical test to determine the correlation coefficient of two variables. In actual practice, we deal with test scores so the data set is an interval and ratio level of measurements. So, hence commonly used statistical analysis is the person product moment correlation or person R. The formula for this has been early discussed and used when determining the reliability of tests through test, retest method, and parallel form. So per person product moment correlation, it is a measure of linear correlation between two sets of data. So balik ta sa second slides. Kay mao ni siya ang example sa per person product moment correlation. Mao ni siya ang example sa niya nga diagram. That's all of my report. Thank you.